We come to honor a veteran here at the Robert L. Weininger VFW Post 8692 as we assemble for you, our God and our country. God bless America and our veterans. Amen.
Amen. Look at Charles, 89 years old, passed away in 2011, and you look at the legacy, and you look behind you, look to your left and right, and you see what he's left behind, the memory he's left behind, the fact that we're standing here and still talking about him. And that's what I said to everyone, you know, to young kids, cadets that are here, don't look up to rock stars, politicians, movie stars, influencers, you know, trying to get it to be influenced. Look at your neighbors. Look at your people that do extraordinary stuff day in and day out in your community. The men and women that have come back and built this great nation, the greatest generation of all times. And they could have looked the other way. They could have went, rightfully so, and went into their rabbit hole and not gave back to society. Instead, they forged forward and they said, hey, look, I don't need a pat on the back. I didn't do it for the medals. I didn't do it for the uniform. I did it because I wanted to serve my country. But World War II was a draft back then. I think it was like 16.8 million Americans that fought in that war during World War II. If you look at that, less than 1% of this population of 340 million, probably 45 million citizens, less than 1% puts that uniform on to fight for our freedoms, to believe in whatever God we want to believe in, to be whatever party we want to be, to have agree to disagree with people and still have dialogue and move forward. And you look at your dad, your father-in-law.
I noted in the highlights of his career and his life that he was faithful to his faith community and to the Elks community and to the Albany area Bassmasters. So obviously an outdoor guy who experienced and loved the spirit of nature. And all of that says he embraced all of the freedoms for which he and his colleagues comrades fought for during World War II. So out of all of the respect that he has earned in his memory, in his tribute, I ask that a flag be flown over our nation's capital in honor of his service to this country and commitment.
The Battle of Luzon went from January to August in the Philippines, and it had the highest net casualty rate. Over 200,000 Japanese died, mostly of starvation. But there was significant kinetic action going on during that time, and for a 21-year-old to sustain during that entire time, we have deployment rotations in some of the services now that are 3 months, 6 months. He was there for the duration as a 21-year-old.
As was said already, the greatest generation. And being in the Pacific Asian theater is not one we hear a lot about. We often hear about the European theater and those that serve there. My uncle was a Monsignor, a priest in that theater as an Irish priest, although at that point he lived in Australia. And my father said he was never really the same. You know, it had such a deep effect because the tragedy, the weather had to be such a dramatic change. If you think of what we're in now versus the tropics and what they had to go through. And yes, there was no internet, there were no connections, once you served, you served.
We are honoring a man whose character was forged in that service. Freedom is often described as a gift, but it is debt. One that is paid for by the sacrifices of people like Charles Curcurito. Because of his service, we can meet here today in peace to voice our opinions and to pursue our dreams. We also would like to acknowledge the family who stood by him during his service time in their sacrifice. May we all leave here today inspired by his example of what it means to be a patriot.
We forget about the very simple things in life that made for great and strong neighbors and great and strong neighborhoods. And on top of just being a great neighbor and contributing to a strong neighborhood, your loved one was someone who dedicated his life to service on behalf of our country and people that he would never even meet. Again, it just speaks volumes to the values that he demonstrated through action and deed, not just in talk and conversation. And so it's been an honor to learn more about Mr. Curcurito and his sacrifices, again, not just for those here in Albany, but also to our entire nation.
My colleague, Jane Zalski, Veterans Benefits Advisor 2, is here with me on behalf of the governor, Kathy Hochul. We have a citation honoring Charles and thanking him for his service, and also a certificate of recognition from our commissioner, Reverend Viviana de Cohen. All right, thank you.
The supporting cast of those type of hardworking soldiers, such as Charles, they keep the show going. The show can't go on without them. And as with so many of our veterans, he continued to serve. And again, the second connection at Watervliet Arsenal, America's Cannon and Mortar Factory, for almost 4 decades, which is outstanding. I like to remind folks all the time, our people at Watervliet Arsenal may not wear a uniform, but they serve each and every day. And so he was also a member of, esteemed member of the community. That was awesome to hear, where he continued to give back and to serve. You know, that service is not necessarily something that we inculcate, it's there to start with. And so, again, our motto in the Ordnance Corps is armament for peace, and there is no greater endeavor than lasting peace. And we owe him a debt of gratitude for taking up that fight. So,
Well, I'm deeply honored. I'm overwhelmed, actually. My father was a great man. Everything that you said about him is absolutely right on spot. He dedicated his life to the Watervliet Arsenal, his family. He had quite a life. He died at 89 years old, and to me, I can only sum up one word for my father. Okay, he was a genius. Thank you very much.